Welcome to Frostpunk. This is going to be focusing on the new scenario that they're putting out. I don't actually have a release date for it, I don't think, but it's going to come out sometime this month. And I've been playing it for a couple of days here. It is... So, they've added a lot to... this game since it came out on PC, especially a few years ago. They have a whole bunch of scenarios. There's expansion content, and they just added this last autumn expansion. And what this is basically it tells a story about the time before the Ice Age happened, like before everything was frozen. So everything's still kind of green and flourishing in this expansion. So it's like a big change of scenery, big change of some of the mechanics as well. Some of the things that have changed are significant. Some are more like just set dressing. But I wanted to start a new game so you could see the opening sequence here, because I think they do a pretty good job with these little cutscenes.
Left the familiar walls of Birmingham behind. Weeks of uncertainty, of struggle, of hope. And finally, we have reached the shores. We had 3 deaths so far. Or, small price for progress, as IEC called it. I can only hope I am going to avoid their fate. They've claimed there was nothing to fear. That this whole journey of ours was just a precaution. But now, it feels like the weather is changing. And the winter seems inevitable.
So yeah, the setup is you are going to this location to build one of the big generators that is the focus of the main game. The generators are basically what keep people alive when the Ice Age comes and everything freezes. And the whole idea here is you're trying to... So it's a city builder, obviously, that's what Frostpunk is. You're trying to manage this city while also focusing on building the generator here in the center. So early on, they just have you set up the basics here. So if you are familiar with Frostpunk, you'll know that this would be where the generator is, and then you'd have to build your city out in basically circles around here to keep everybody warm. But this is a little bit different in that the generator area, the circle here, is only reserved for special buildings because you don't have to worry about keeping your people warm. Plus 10 degrees Celsius is a little cold, but it's not as cold as it gets in the main game. So you're actually going to be building most of your stuff around here. As you can see, there's a lot of green here, a lot more green than there is in the original base game. Lots of trees that we can cut down. We don't have to cut into the ice. There's actual water and shore, so we're going to take advantage of that as well. And there are steps that they have you go along in order to kind of push you along the mission that you have to complete and keep your people happy. So you'll have objectives down here. These are pretty short-term objectives, and you'll also get You also get more as you go along. So what we're going to start to do here is build some houses for our people, because that's important. We're going to put them in tents. And we can't build in the red area, but we can outside of here. Where I'm also going to assign workers to gather wood. So you start out with these small stockpiles of resources, but eventually we're gonna have to get into these trees for wood. You also build a dock that brings in resources periodically. So your resources, they're up along here. We got coal, which we don't really need right now. Wood, steel, raw food, and then on this side there are special materials that we're going to need in order to build the generator. Let's see, the other important thing is this discontent and motivation. In the base game, this is called hope. Motivation and hope are kind of two sides of the same coin. We have to connect roads to the center here. We need more wood. They'll gather that wood eventually. So the discontent is a measurement of just basically how happy people are. The higher this goes, the more angrier they are, and if it gets to the end, you're going to get kicked out and you're going to lose the game. Motivation is how inspired they are to continue the project. And that's important because basically right now we're not at the point where the world is doomed. We're at the edge of that point where the world is doomed. So people are still kind of like living their lives, and they need to be motivated in order to build these things that will supposedly save them from a future that they are not 100% certain is going to happen. So you have to do things to motivate them, like build public houses so they can drink and have a good time after work. You can build like a sauna so they have somewhere to relax and take a bath, stuff like that. Right now we're just we're building some houses. During the day, they'll collect resources, and then we can start to work toward building what we need to build. So the first thing on our list here is research and build docks. So I need to build a research post. Put that there. The beginning portions of these campaigns are a little slow. They start to pick up later on when you start getting more objectives, start getting more people, start spinning more plates and things like that. But the beginning is a little slow, so I'm not going to spend too much time here at the beginning. I have a save game that I'm going to load up that has a little bit more going on, but we will we'll see what the gist is here. We'll probably build these docks and then I'll load my other game. We can, so these little things will pop up. These are like, sometimes these are just little statuses. Sometimes they're people complaining about things. Yeah, so there's not much to do. This kind of indicates that I need to build some sort of recreation for them to do after they're done their day's work. So they're throwing things down into the generator hole. We're going to stop them from doing that because we don't want them to damage it. But I should probably think about building something to keep them occupied, because right now we're in free time. Free time is like, after work, bed, when they go to bed, and it's also when they usually spend most of their time building structures. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna queue up research, which you can afford, good. Docs, and they'll research that tomorrow morning when it's time to work. You can speed up the time, which we're gonna do here. I still need to build way more houses. I need to house 60 more people, so we'll do that when we get more wood. We don't have much wood right now. Things to see. Okay, so here's what I was just going to talk about. People are getting cold at night, so they need shelter, basically. So that's what we'll do. We'll promise to provide shelter within 2 days. That adds a little objective down here, and hopefully we can fulfill that. If not, people are going to be disappointed, and discontent will go up. All right, so we're back working, so we're getting wood so we can build some more tents. I think each one can fit 6 people, or I mean 10 people. So maybe we won't be able to house everybody yet, but we're still working on it. And we also researched docks. That went quick. So now no, we don't have enough wood. So we will start saving up for wood. I'm also going to need to build a medical tent for people to be treated for sickness and stuff like that. So we'll do that. Right now we're kind of low on wood. Wood at the beginning, wood is definitely the more crucial resource. As you go along, steel becomes more important. But there becomes easier ways to acquire all of that. Let's see. No, you know what? Well, I guess we'll build the docks, right? Basic docks. I need 25 wood. Almost there. Oh, we didn't quite make it. All right. Well, that's gonna be. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna load up my later save. Isn't too much farther along, but there is more going on. Hey Tyrion, how you doing? You familiar with Frostpunk or strategy games like this? So yeah, this is my current settlement. As you can see, I've got more going on here, way more people. I've got my first stage on the generator done, and what this has kind of done is introduced a lot in terms of like labor conditions and making sure your people have good work environments. Hello, Ninja. Yeah, Tyrion, I like the story too. It's a really good setting. They do a good job of making you feel like you're at the end of the world here or something like that. Yeah, so I've got my first stage of the generator built. This is like a ventilation plant. Means that any fumes that come up from this crater will be cleaned out so people don't get sick. Let's see, what else do I got? I got this factory inspectorate, which increases the level of safety Yeah, I am behind schedule. This is the first time I've ran this scenario, and I didn't even realize I had milestones I had to reach at certain points until I failed my first one. But we're working on it. So the next thing I need to focus on here is the machine shop, but I need way more wood for that. We won't get that until tomorrow morning. Alright, we got more people. That's good. Food has not been an issue here at all with this scenario, which is good, I guess. What was that? Sawmill? Okay, yeah, okay. So we'll get a lot of wood tomorrow morning. I'm gonna turn this off for now. Save some coal.
Attention, the work shift starts.
Alright, efficient gathering researched. Let's see what else we got. We got our big tech tree here. Again, food really has not been that big of an issue. I think I am going to research more foragers, because I want to explore some more. I'm going to need charcoal as well. Let's do the foragers first, because that's probably going to be cheap and quick. Yep, we're good on houses, that's good. Safety procedures not signed. Okay, I missed that. Yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping track of some of this stuff. Like, it'll tell me that I need to sign a law. I haven't signed a law in a long time, but I'll still have to wait for it to tick down. And then by the time this is, my laws have been refreshed, my ability to pass laws, I've forgotten that I need to pass a law. And something like that happens where I fail. So, but now we'll have to do, introduce one of it. So is this going to be a law that I need to do? Yeah, overseers. Alright, see? Like, I can do this right now, so... So I remember to do it. Overseer station. 15 wood, 5 steel. Okay. What is this? Okay, so this covers... Alright. There's an have to worry about houses. All right. Put one here. I guess we'll put one here. Install the pressure valves. I need this machine shop first. We're just probably gonna build steel composites, I guess. Yeah, I guess for me it's just a matter of the pace can be so slow for so long, then all of a sudden you have a bunch of things you need to take care of all at once. And I wish it was, I don't know, paced a little bit more evenly. Steam exchangers. Okay. How much do these cost? 20 steel. Alright, let's build 2 of them. 20 structural profiles. Okay, so I can start building that. I don't have many people to assign there right now. But what is this? Okay, so let's bring some people. Okay, good. So now we've got some of that going. I'm waiting for the eventual huge giant event that totally screws you over to occur, because that's what happened in the original campaign in this game. There was like a moment where, oh, you're doing great, and then boom, they hit you with like a huge event that that raises your discontent, drops your hope, and it's hard to get out of a situation like that. But the second time around playing that campaign, I was ready for it, so it wasn't as big of a deal. Yeah, so I haven't gotten to anything like that yet. There have been some things like my guys went on strike at one point. It's really all about, seemingly anyway, managing your safety conditions around the workplace, which is what all of these things are for, basically. I mean, your workers will get angry if things are too or if things are unsafe, and they start to get hurt or they get sick. And yeah, there's like in your book of laws, there's the administration, which is just your way of life, basically. But then there's the whole labor tree that addresses all of that, all those safety concerns. So that seems to be the focus here, and it is a significant, it's a significant change from what we've typically seen from this game, where it was all about keeping your people warm, keeping your people fed. Food doesn't seem to be as much of an issue here, but you do have to keep them happy in a different kind of way. And I think it's just a neat change. It's not a complete change. It's not like a completely new game or anything like that, but it does add a new layer of complexity to the game. Something a little different. That the other scenarios, they were focused mostly on single challenges, but this is more of a whole new campaign rather than those scenarios that were they would start you in like the middle of some sort of challenge or some sort of event that was going on. This is more like you're starting a whole new campaign like you do in the normal game, except it's got this little bit of a twist on it where you're to manage your labor relations, and resources aren't quite as big of a focus, but you do need tons of them, because instead of just worrying about keeping your people alive, you have to build this huge generator in the middle here. It provides some cool context too. You do have your region map like you do in the original game. You can see that's getting a little cold out here, but over here we're still all thawed out. This is your boat coming in with my 15 workers. You have these places you can explore. Right now I have a team of foragers. They are bringing fish from this lake, bringing it back. But again, food has not been a huge issue. Food in the base game is a huge thing you have to keep track of. Not as dire of a situation. I guess it shows a pretty good parallel between like what it's like before before the climate change event and after the climate change event. So like if your motivation drops, which is the equivalent of hope from the base game, your work will slow down a little bit. So you got to focus on trying to keep that motivation up. I screwed up. I missed an important milestone, but hopefully we can work back from that and build up the motivation again. But yeah, I think it just shows a good juxtaposition between what is important after the event and what's important before the event. People are more worried about getting paid here than they are about getting fed, because those are the priorities. So yeah, I guess that's gonna be it. There really isn't. Once you see what's changed, the rest of the game's kind of like what Frostpunk used to be. I think it's a pretty good city builder game, with the exception of the pacing issues, which I mentioned. I think it's a little slow to start out, and then when things start ramping up, it's easy to get quickly overwhelmed and lose track of your focus and what's going on. But usually, unless you're playing on a really high difficulty or you're really far along into the campaign, you can recover from most mistakes you make. And yeah, I don't know, what they're going to keep doing with this game. They really supported, this is the same people that brought us this War of Mine, and they, up until last year even, they were putting out expansions for that. So I don't know if they're going to keep doing that for this game. I hope so, because they've already improved it quite a bit from its original release, and there's a ton of content in there. It's even on console, which it's a really good console version. So I hope they bring this to the console version soon as well. But yeah, this is going to be out sometime in January. So keep an eye out for it if you're a Frostpunk fan. And yeah, other than that, thanks for hanging out and checking out the game. See ya.